What's up, glowers? It has been a minute. I know. I was literally in the hospital with my daughter for about a week due to flu complications as well as asthma and pre symptom pneumonia, which was really scary for a minute because it was one thing to think that we went in for an asthma attack and then being told we had the flu. But then when they started treating for pneumonia, but they weren't telling us they were treated for pneumonia, we didn't find that out until we were actually transferred to a pediatric unit at another hospital. So super scary, especially with everything going on with the coronavirus. And you all know we're in Miami, where Miami is a major port destination or port center. So it was kind of scary and odd, and I just had like such horrible cabin fever the whole time I was there at the hospital. I had thought about doing some videos, but then I was like, you know what, I'm just not even feeling it because I just wanted to be back home, y'all. I just wanted to be back in my king bed. I wanted to be back with deciding what we were going to be eating for our meals with Grovade and the whole nine, and just in my comfort level. So anyway, glad to be back. And so, what have I missed out on? So, this whole Snoop Dogg thing was disgusting. You know what? I did come up on something when I was in the hospital. Of course, like I said, I had a lot of time to think. Thank God my ex-husband picked up my son, so um, it could just be, me and my daughter, and I could focus on her. But when she was asleep, it did give me a lot of time to kind of read and to. I watched a lot of videos, went through a lot of commentary because she was actually, utilizing the TV. So of course, even though she was sick, she still was on that remote heavy. So, the whole Kobe Bryant thing, or tragedy, rather, not a thing, but the tragedy, but the Snoop Dogg come back and the little Boosie come back, and I've been just watching that kind of play out, but not being able to have these conversations, and then realizing that I don't even have the type of friends that I can have those type of conversations with, y'all. Miami living for me is lonely as heck. It really is, because even when I ran into someone that I kind of connect with, that, we have a good conversation, that literally is all it is. They have to go back to their life and making sure their kids are straight or their family is straight. And of course, I'm going back to mine. And just, there are not too many people walking the same type of path that I'm on. So having that connection is really tough to do. And for a while, of course, church friends were the only friends that I could kind of connect with. But even them, they're just much older. And then the church that I go to, particularly, they're older and they're not, they don't have a similar experience. With my background, they might be newly married, or they might have never been married, or they might have been divorced for like forever. So they're not really looking for a companion and things like that. So the connection is just hard, super hard. So at any rate, I didn't have anybody to kind of go over these ideas with. It was just kind of me with my own thoughts and with my own, left to my own devices, so to speak. I did a lot of writing in my prayer book, but I did come up on the realization that, you know what, and this is hard for me to say or to admit, especially out loud. But yeah, I don't think it's not that I don't want to say I'm giving up on, but I just don't think that my companion is going to be a black man. And that is huge for me to say, because y'all, I'm raising a beautiful, young king. And my ex-husband was a very good husband to me. Don't get me wrong. Anybody that knows my backstory knows that. I know I didn't totally destroy my marriage 100% by myself, but I was legitimately about the cause of 70% of the dissolution of my marriage. And I had a very good situation. I had married young, and I had married a gentleman who came from a really good family, and who was a provider, who took care of me. But I just didn't realize the significance of that. And um, yeah. So if you want to know my backstory, go back to the back. I think it was called Glow Up or the Spilling Tea, something like that. I don't know. But in this day and age, like, I never really wanted to say that out of my mouth personally, because I feel as though words are very powerful. And as we speak of, this becomes our reality. But what I tell you, especially in Miami, I just have met no, and I mean no, just like quality black men. And not to say that I've met quality other men, but you can't measure what you don't miss, or you can't miss what you can't measure. And so, since I've never dated actively anything else other than black men, I don't know where their quality level lies. I can just tell you where I'm at, what my experiences are. And that was a really hard conclusion for me to come to. Like, literally the one, or maybe two that I do know, they're very much involved, whether it is engaged or just have been with their significant other for a long time. And when someone is involved with a significant other for a long time, that also raises some red flags. So it's like, I would not even expect or want to get into a relationship with someone that was in a relationship for years and years, and they didn't marry their significant other, which also was a backstory of mine. After my divorce, I was engaged to a gentleman for 3 years, only to be told after 3 years that he wasn't sure we were right for each other. And it was just like uh, such a lame excuse. Just, I think that honestly, black men are really dealing with a lot of mental issues that they just will never want to own up to, whether it is because they're so used to being, are thinking that they're like alpha males or on top of things or what have you. But it really does make it very difficult to build a quality relationship with them, because it's just like going to the doctor. If you aren't forthcoming with what is ailing you, there's no way to get a proper diagnosis. And I think such is the case with a lot of black men. I can't speak on men that were raised in other cultures, because I am getting, a lot of feedback in regards to my decision. And people say, well, try African men, or no one says try Jamaican men or Bahamian men. I've been warned, but they don't tell me to try those other culture men. But I have often been told that African men are a different experience, and it might be something a little bit more to my liking, a little bit more intellectual, a little bit more financially stable. But yeah, the one African guy who tried to date me years ago was just a real pervert, and just very obviously looking for a green card. So he has been deported since, and he just physically, he wasn't my type. He was very short, very muscular, just wasn't my type. I'm 5'2", so I would like someone at least 6 feet or up. So that's where I am right now. Like I said, it was a very long week, and it was just kind of, I want to be honest, it was kind of depressing coming up on this realization and coming up on this conclusion, because like I said, so much of me is just black love, and just what I think of naturally. That's naturally what I would want, but it just has not been there for me. It has not panned out. It hasn't worked. And I just think that maybe I should take my emotional energy and start to be a little bit more non-discriminatory. So I'm on my way to a pretty important meet and greet. We have a new commander that is making her debut here in our community tonight. and I am going to stop in there before going to Bible study tonight. So I went from doing nothing last week to kind of doing a lot of things this week. And, you know, though I miss being in the midst and in the running and all of that good stuff, it definitely makes me appreciate my bed and my bedtime a whole lot more, because like I said, this week is pretty packed with a lot of activity. And then of course, just found out today that one of my bishop's anniversary is this week, all this week. So I won't be making it tonight, of course, but have pledged to make it next week, and hopefully on Friday as well. So at any rate, that is it for me right now. Until next time, y'all know what to do. It's been so long, but make sure you do it. Glow up.